But entrepreneurship is a leap of faith. And though my team and I always look at a good idea, we always do a deep dive. We are constantly trying to gauge the intent of the person setting up the business. For me, this is the most important criteria, whether the person, the founder, has what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship for me is a state of mind. Not everyone is made for it, and realizing this fact about oneself can be very crucial. As you embark on this journey, it is very, very important for you to have the full support of your family, be it now your parents, your close family members, later on your spouses. But this is extremely important because for an entrepreneur, there is no clear demarcation between his home and office, and the highs and lows of the journey is felt by the entire family. Having the family support is therefore a must, and that is why early stage investors spend a lot of time trying to gauge the family aspect of an entrepreneur and his risk taking and sustainability potential. Must have heard of the intelligent quotient, the emotional quotient, the social quotient, but the make and break of an entrepreneur is what I call the adversity quotient. This is a measure of the ability to go through a rough patch without losing one's bearings. For an early stage founder, every day adversity stares you in the face, and you would need to be able to take it on the chin and move on. We all know that entrepreneurs exhibit a streak of narcissism, craziness, infectious optimism. But what is not well known is that successful founders need to have a tough mind to go through the ups and downs of this ride. While passion drives an entrepreneur, he cannot be emotional. Often, passionate people tend to be emotional, but not in the case of an entrepreneur. The life of an early stage founder is akin to a roller coaster ride. On days, rejections are rife, making them suffer from a crisis of confidence, which toggles alongside the high emotional highs that would border almost to the extent of arrogance when things start going right. The strangest thing is that in the life of a startup, these highs and lows can be experienced by the founder within hours. From euphoria to despair, back again to euphoria, all are a part of the daily life of of an entrepreneur. A good call with a client who you think might be the first person or the first company to buy your product sends you into an emotional high, only to be shattered within minutes as you hear that the investor who you were looking at to back the company has rejected your proposal. And this funding was necessary for you to even complete the product which the client wanted to buy. So these highs and lows can get difficult to handle, and it is therefore no secret, and especially now, it is out in the open that many startup founders suffer from mental illnesses and depressions, which in some cases, unfortunately, have led to some startup founders of late committing suicide. The untimely death of Siddharth, the founder of Cafe Coffee Day, whom I knew personally very well in the recent time, highlights the pressure that entrepreneurs go through. To be a success as an entrepreneur, you must look at it as the only option, and there should be no plan B. Some of you might have the notion that I will try my hand at startup, and if it fails, I will go back to a job. Let me tell you simply, if you have this mindset, do not even try a startup, because you will always then be looking at taking up the first job available once you come to a speed breaker. For an entrepreneur, change is the only constant for you. Plans are constantly changing as on a daily basis. As you are rolling out your product, you are getting customer feedback, so you have to change your product. As you're ready to launch the product, you realize you do not have that much runway left for the product to be accepted. Then you have to leave the product launch and go ahead and do a fundraise. As you're doing your fundraise, you will be slapped with some sort of a legal suit from somebody who will think that you're copying their idea. So, you are always on the tenterhook and you are always out there wanting to change. In the startup world, there is nothing definitive, and the entrepreneur must survive and thrive in the surrounding world of chaos. There is nothing as a right time to start the business. There is a Chinese proverb which I very much like, which says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, the second best time is now. So if you have an idea and you're passionate about it, go for it. Unless you get your head onto it, unless you close all other ranks, unless you burn the bridges, as I said before, you won't know if it works or not. The fact is, there is never a bad time to launch a business. A lot of people had asked me that during COVID or post-COVID world, is it a good time to launch the business? We all know that some of the best businesses have been born when the macro global environment has not been good. During the last global financial crisis, Airbnb, Venmo, Uber, some of the best known companies were born during those days. I can see the frustration when some students ask me that, every idea I have about a business, I find somebody else has already done it. Always remember one thing, success is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. It is not about ideas. Ideas are cheap. It is all about execution. How you guys go out there and execute your plans is what matters. And one can see thousands of examples. In India is not known to have the Elon Musks and the Mark Zuckerbergs. It is taking ideas that have been existing and replicating them and doing them in a much better format. And there is absolutely no shame in that, in replicating ideas. Let us take the case of Ola, Bhavesh, There wasn't anything novel he did. Uber was existing when he started Ola. But what he did was he understood that in India, the old model of Uber can't work, and he indigenized it totally for an Indian marketplace. He knew that in India you would have to give access to cash. So he created cash in the system. He knew that in India, people love to always do WhatsApp, talk, watch videos. So he created a whole environment of, Wi-Fi within the cabs, OTT playing on the cabs. Unlike in the West, where one knows where the nearest high street toilets are, over here nobody knew where in India public toilets are. So he created an app which would show you the nearest public toilet. He took a existing business model, but it was all about execution that made him succeed. He didn't wait to come with the newest idea and one fine day say that this is what is going to conquer the world. In fact, students, I would go to the other extent. As an early stage VC, if someone comes and tells me that they have an idea which no one anywhere has done, I would be very loath to invest. And maybe because of that, I would lose the odd chance of finding a next Elon Musk, but the chances of failure are much, much higher. I want all of you to also understand that risk is intrinsic to entrepreneurship, and along with risk comes failure. To fail is very common in the entrepreneurial journey. Always remember, it is the business or an idea that fails. A true entrepreneur never fails. This subject is very near to my heart because as a society, we do not like to fail. And because of that, we have not been able to embrace entrepreneurship to the extent that it should be in a country like India. However, I'm glad to see the change that is happening today. I'm glad to see that failure is slowly being accepted. And I know of many successful founders and entrepreneurs and how they have dealt with their failures and have come out in their next ventures very successfully. Because you draw learnings from your failed businesses and usually come back stronger next time. Failure is inherent in startups and entrepreneurship. As a fund, we invest a lot in second, third time entrepreneurs, even when their earlier ventures have failed. When it comes to recruitment as well, we hire a lot of failed startup founders because we think they have been through the journey, so they know what it would be to be on the other side and guide startups when they join a fund like us as analysts and associates. You can be a startup founder, or you can also work within a large corporate and be an entrepreneur at heart. It is entrepreneurs who change status quo and take businesses and nations forward. Always remember that everything started from nothing. This is the adage of the book that I have written and which is being published and will be available from next week in all the standard stores. This book speaks on how to be successful in the startup battleground. Today, all of us see these large enterprises and we get glamour struck, and rightly so. But remember, everything that you see has started out of a garage, a small flat somewhere, or a school college dorm. So wear your passion in your sleeves, become an entrepreneur and dream, but always with your eyes open. Because this is the situation you will find yourself in most of the time. If you have this, a lot of startup founders make the mistake that you try to keep your idea too close to your heart. You think if I talk my idea, somebody else will steal it. Remember, as I keep saying, ideas don't matter. It is only execution that matters. So if you have an idea, you should actually also talk to the other competing companies that are there to the extent you can. You should be out there talking to the customers, their customers, either surrogately or directly. You should be talking to the entire ecosystem to see what is faltering within the existing product and where you can provide a better solution than the existing products that are there. And if you yourself feel that, yes, if we can tweak A, B, and C and come with a new and better product, and as changes happen in the world, our product will do well, that is the way to go forward. You will never come across an idea where you think you have the only path-breaking idea in the world. Never. You take Zerodha. Somebody mentioned that. What were they? Nothing. Everyone has been a brokerage platform for long. They came with a brokerage platform with a difference. That is what it is. You have to go deep into it, understand the domain that you're going to play in, and then come with that product.